In today's vlog, I'm going to be speaking about something I'm super passionate about that I love, acoustic guitars. I'm going to show you my acoustic guitars, tell you some of the stories behind them, give you some tips if you're going to go get an acoustic guitar for yourself, and also give you an excuse to spend a little bit of extra money on that schmancy acoustic guitar you've got your eye on. But I'm going to do that last because I know that's the bit you're waiting for, the excuse. So I'm going to start by showing you some of my guitars and also giving you some tips. This is Wonder, my 3/4 sized guitar, and this one was a High School Musical guitar. I have no idea what brand. It's all laminate and it looked absolutely horrendous. I got it for 10 Australian dollars at the markets. I had to scratch off this horrendous High School Musical design that was on it before I could paint it and make it into this Wonder Woman guitar. This guitar is a lot more for show than for play. I'll play it a little bit for you so you can see what it sounds like. Yes, a lot more for show than play. My first tip that I have for you is get a full-sized guitar. Unless you're a little kid and you just genuinely can't reach the frets, get a full-sized guitar. There are full-size guitars with small bodies, but the frets on a 3/4 size guitar are closer together and it makes it really, really hard to move between full-size guitar and your 3/4 size guitar. So start learning on a full-size guitar. Tip number 1. Let me get my next guitar. This is Sexy, and Sexy obviously was already also bought for show when I first got it. Sexy is a Luna brand guitar, and it is from their Gypsy collection. When I bought it for around 100 to 150 Australian dollars on eBay. I bought it to be a prop, and it ended up being a lot better of a guitar than I expected. It is mahogany back and sides and spruce top, solid wood. And Luna's actually a pretty decent brand, so this guitar is worth a lot more than I paid for it. Let me play it for you so you can hear what it sounds like. Now, this guitar is a Guitardus. It's got a Made in Gallifrey sticker on it. Let's hope it focuses there. All of my guitars, apart from Wonder, you'll see have a pixel heart at the top. This one has 2 hearts because the Doctor has 2 hearts from Doctor Who. There's also little moon inlays. Those came with the guitar. But it's bigger on the inside. Now, one tip I'll give you is a lot of cheaper guitars, kind of where they cut a lot of costs, is in the electronics. So this one sounds really nice acoustically, which is how you're hearing it, but when you plug it in, it's got a very quacky sound. And one thing you can do to make this a little bit better is to get an acoustic modeling pedal. So the Zoom AC2 is what I've got, and that really, really helps. Now that does cost money, but a lot less than a multi-$1,000 guitar. The other thing is strings. You may overlook strings, but changing strings on a guitar can really improve the sound. So I put Martin guitar strings on this guitar, and I really, really like Martin guitar strings. They have a really nice ring to them. D'Addarios are also considered quite good. I find Elixirs have a bit more of a muffled tone, so I'm not a big fan of that, but some people are into that. If that's something you're into, then that's some brand you can look into as well. With cheaper guitars, the biggest red flag I'd look out for is intonation at the higher frets. So if you've tuned it all up and when you play higher chords it's still out of tune, there's a chance that the frets are not put in the right place and you cannot change that. If that's the case, your guitar's always going to be out of tune. Some things you can modify are, you can actually fix the intonation a little bit, and also the action, which is how far a string is away from the fingerboard, by kind of sanding away at the nooks where the strings lay at this part of the guitar, or sanding down the bridge at this part of the guitar. Let me get the next guitar for you, which is a little bit different. This guitar is Snow, my cat guitar and my only nylon string guitar. It is a Takamine, and it is an ED31CBL. It's black, and it's got Nyan Cat on the strap, and a lot of Litten, which is one of my choice starter Pokemon. Anyway, let me play a little bit for you. When I got this guitar, it was around 300 Australian dollars. I think now it goes for about 400 to 500, because obviously times have been a-changing. But it is mahogany back and sides, much like the guitardus, and spruce top, again like the guitardus. But this one's nylon string, so it's a bit different. So one tip I would have for you is if you're getting your first guitar, unless you're planning to play classical guitar, in most cases I would recommend going for a steel string guitar. Most of the time people do actually want to play steel string guitar. Sometimes they get recommended to get a nylon string because it's a bit softer on the fingers. But it's actually a lot harder to play in other ways, like the strings are a bit further apart, and in general it's a very different sort of instrument to play. So if you're planning to play a steel string guitar, start on a steel string guitar, essentially. But that doesn't mean don't get a nylon string guitar. They've got a different tone quality, and one of the most fantastic things you can do is once you've played a song on your 6-string steel string guitar, you can transfer it to nylon string, turn it into a finger picking song, and it's just like a completely different take on the song, and it's really, really fun to do. So it's a fun thing you can do if you've got both. Let me move on to some of my more expensive guitars now. This is Unit. Unit was my main gigging guitar for about 10 years, and Unit is a Martin 000 C16T. It also has a spruce top and mahogany back and side, so we got a bit of a trend with those last 3 guitars. It's a 000 size, which is a bit of a smaller body. Let me play it for you so you can hear it. So this guitar has gone through the works. It's had every repair job done on it that you can get done. The electronics have been replaced. I can't speak English. It's been refretted. The bridge has had to be moved for intonation issues. The top actually came off and had to be glued back down as well. It was a bit of a shoddy job, which got me a little bit upset, but hey, I still love this guitar. I have so many memories with this guitar. It's been with me through so many places and times and parts of my life, so Doom has some Beta Zim on it. I'm a big fan of Doom. It's got a Wonder Woman strap. It's been a bit of an Amazonian fighter through all these times. But this particular guitar, one thing that I've learnt from it is if you're going to go shopping for a used guitar, because this was used when I bought it, take someone with you that knows a lot about guitars, because you got to really take it through the ropes. You got to go hard on the guitar, play it every which way possible to figure out what needs repairing. Because this guitar cost approximately 2,000 Australian dollars. I know, lots of money. But it actually costs probably closer to 4,000 Australian dollars if you include all of the repairs. And that doesn't include the massive amount of time spent traveling to repair shops and the amount of trauma and drama that was involved in that as well. So you really want to know as much as possible upfront about what you may have to fix up on the guitar. So one of the things you may notice about this guitar, if you look closely, is that electronics board has this little spot here where the previous owner used to put out their cigarettes. So they clearly didn't look after it as well as they could have. So there's some things you might want to know if you're buying a used guitar. Is take someone along with you, unless you can really do everything with it yourself and just go crazy playing on it, see if there are any issues. But used guitars might actually be a really good way to save some money. And a lot of the time, used guitars sound really good because wood opens up over time. So don't rule out the possibility of getting a used guitar. Also, if it has a smell, the smell does pass. I know, I was worried about that too. This one had a cigarette smell for a while, but it passed. I'm going to get my current gigging guitar now. This is Clock, my current gigging guitar. It is a Martin GPC Aura GT. I called it Clock because Aura in Hungarian means clock, and I am Hungarian, so I thought that was cool. It's got this really lovely pearl inlay in it, which is kind of hexagonal. Let me see if you can focus there. And it's got these wonderful skeleton key sort of peg tuners, which I think look really rad as well. It's got the pearloid around the sound hole. And for me, the guitar very much looked like a castle. So that's why I solemnly swear I'm up to no good as the guitar strap. It's kind of like the map to the castle And this one is spruce top and rosewood back and sides, so a bit different to the other guitars. Let me play it for you so you can hear it. Just has this really clear, bright, ringing tone. So beautiful. When I went shopping for my new gigging guitar, and it took a bit of convincing because it was really difficult for me to move on from a unit in any way, shape or form. And I haven't moved on, I'm still playing you. But I tried a number of guitars. And one tip I would give you is that acoustic guitars sound different depending on who is playing them. Unlike other instruments, the acoustic guitar resonates with your body. You are literally part of the instrument. Your body literally resonates. It's not just the box, it's you and the box. So even if you like how a guitar sounds played by a certain person, like Ed Sheeran, Johnny Cash, the Beatles, whoever, unless you happen to be Ed Sheeran, Johnny Cash or the Beatles, it won't sound the same when you play the guitar. So always play the guitars yourself, hear what it sounds like, feel what it feels like for you, and go with the one that feels and sounds the best for you. Because really, it is something where each guitar will sound different for each individual. Okay, I'm going to bring my last guitar up to show you. This here is Bazza, and Bazza is a GPC 12PA4. This is a Martin guitar, just like the last two, and this one is a 12-string guitar. It has sapelli back and sides and a spruce top, and it is my Flash-themed guitar, hence all the lightning bolts and the various Flash parody stickers. It's also why it's called Bazza, because, you know, Bazza is like Australian for Barry Allen, and I always say that it's not 12 strings, it's just 6 strings that just vibrating quickly. But, damn, it's like butter. Here's a tip for you. Try a 12-string guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was 4 years old, and I'm now like a fossil fuel. I'm ancient. I've been playing for so long, and it took me so long to get to actually even just play 12-string guitars. And they're so wonderful. They're like a different sonic universe. It's just like the nylon string guitar. Take a song that you play on a 6-string steel guitar and move it to 12-string. It's like it goes into this different realm. So, try a 12-string guitar. Sounds so nice. Now I'm going to get to the bit you've been waiting for and tell you why you can spend a little bit of extra dough to get that schmancy guitar you're after. Guitars have this unique thing about them that isn't the same for most instruments. You can get a $50,000 piano, and over time it will depreciate and depreciate and depreciate. You can get a $10,000 flute, and over time it'll depreciate and depreciate and depreciate. Whereas you can get a $3,000 to $5,000 guitar, and it will stay the same value, or appreciate. So guitars are different to a lot of other instruments in that they hold their value, or they appreciate, if you get, and there is a caveat, if you get one of the more big brand name models, such as Martin, Gibson, or Taylor, Guild, Maton, Collings, and if you get something that is a solid wood guitar, preferably one of their more well-known models of guitar, but also that you look after it. So it's quite different to a lot of other instruments in that sense. So spending that little bit of extra money and getting, say, the multiple $1,000 guitars that I've gotten is actually not a bad idea. Like, unlike other instruments, that money has not depreciated. I could sell those guitars, and with the exception of Unit, who has had every surgery done on it possibly could, those other guitars would probably actually sell for more than I bought them for. And that's because guitars tend to hold their value or appreciate if they are within that upper echelon of guitars. People are actually switching their investment strategy from investing in real estate to investing in collector's guitars because some view it as a more stable market. So that is why I would say that if you're thinking of spending that extra money on a guitar, you literally lose nothing by doing that, in the sense that that amount of money you put into the guitar stays there. Whereas when you buy a cheaper guitar, it'll usually depreciate, and then you can sell it for $50 in a yard sale. Those more expensive guitars, they hold their value. So if you're looking at this guitar and you're like, oh, it's so nice, it's custom made, it's handmade, it's whatever, those things are wonderful and they do add to the sound. In a lot of cases, the electronics are a lot better. The sound is very subjective, and there are some cheaper guitars that sound phenomenal too. The one reason I'd say it's worth forking out that extra amount is because, as well as getting a more guaranteed version of higher quality sound, workmanship, and durability, you're getting that kind of stability and value. So the guitars are probably going to hold their value. So there, if you needed an extra excuse to spend that extra money on the guitar you've been eyeing off, you have it. You can thank me. You can come back to this video in future and be like, wahaha! It was your fault. I got it. Now I am very happy. That's the other thing with guitars. At least from my experience, they've brought me nothing but happiness. And I'm so lucky to have every single one of my babies. I hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed getting to know my guitars. And I wish you all the best on your own acoustic guitar journey and finding your own resonating box to write songs with and travel with and enjoy. Bye! Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, I would love for you to hit down that subscribe button and also the bell notification button so you can be notified in future when I put up videos. Also, I'd love to do a massive shout out for everyone who is a part of Ninja Club. Your support and encouragement is absolutely invaluable. Thank you so very much. If you're a fan of what I do, I encourage you to check out Ninja Club. There is a link at the top of the description box, and have a wonderful rest of your day. You rock all the Lego blocks.